Alrighty, so for today's annotations, we're going to be focusing on body paragraphs. You should have already color-coded the structure of your essay, done a first read with your own annotations, and picked apart the introduction paragraph of the sample essay to identify hit format. Those videos were at the bottom. If you missed them, if you haven't done those, you do need to go back and get those taken care of. But for the purpose of today, we're going to be focusing on body paragraphs. So I want you to grab two things in order to do that. Firstly, your copy of the essay is off to the right here. So go ahead and open up your copy of the essay. Do that now. When you do, it should look like this. Remember, with these videos, you can always pause, jump into your own copy of the study and add an annotation, and then come back, hit play, watch some more, pause, annotate, so on. Alrighty, so you should have your copy of the study. You also need to scroll down to the bottom of the assignment in Google Classroom. You also need to have the model for body paragraphs. That's at the bottom of the assignment. So you can click open that model. You don't need to open it all the way. The preview it gives is enough. So both the model and your essay should be open. Alrighty, so let's start by going through the model together. Again, you can pause as needed to make annotations. Body paragraphs appear between the introduction and conclusion of an argumentative essay or any type of non-fiction text. Together they form the middle section in which the writer of the argument supports his or her claim with relevant reasons or evidence collected during the research. Your body paragraphs should be proving your thesis, your main claim. If it doesn't prove your main claim, don't put it in there. So all of these body paragraphs are kind of smushed between, here's the intro, bunch of body paragraphs in red, and a conclusion at the end. They're kind of smushed in between. Again, if they don't prove your point, don't put them there. Ideally, each body paragraph should focus on one central idea or reason so that the reader can easily follow along. The ideas in each body paragraph should support the claim stated in the introduction and restated in the conclusion. The point of the body paragraphs is to prove your idea. It's important to structure a body paragraph clearly. Here's one way to structure the body paragraph in an argumentative essay. So StudySync, you'll notice, is suggesting that you would go topic, evidence, evidence, analysis, concluding, which is the same thing as closing. As we've noted in the video earlier in class, the format that he was suggesting in the video and the format I'm going to tell you, it's the same thing you've been doing in argument essays. And he said it in the video earlier in class. You shouldn't ever have an evidence without explaining it, giving analysis. So I'm going to disagree with StudySync on this. I would say that after evidence 1, right in here, you need to have analysis. So it would go topic, evidence, analysis, evidence 2, analysis, concluding sentence, which is a closing. You've been doing this in argument paragraphs. This is not new information. You know how to do this. So let's go in and look specifically at paragraph 4 in your essay. So go ahead and jump into your copy of the essay. And you're going to want to scroll to paragraph 4. Looks like it's toward the top of page 3. And the first note I want to make on here is that body paragraphs should follow argument paragraph format, meaning they should be in TEA-EAC format. So we'll go ahead and pull our mouse across the number 4 and click that plus sign. And we're going to make that side note. Again, you can pause as needed, but make sure you're keeping up in your own annotations. Body paragraphs should be in argument paragraph format, meaning TEA-EAC. Again, StudySync is saying evidence, evidence. He said it earlier in the video, and I'm telling you, don't ever put an evidence in without explaining it. That first analysis is super important. Go ahead and click comment. All right, so this essay, some of the things that the student does, they do a really good job on. And some things, not so much. If this was my student, I would say, okay, you need to go back and revise. And we can learn from both the good and the bad. So let's pick apart this body paragraph and see, did they follow TEA-EAC format? Our first sentence, psychologists also agree that mental attitude of individuals in these horrible situations is very important. That's a solid topic sentence. This is a reason that helps to support the thesis of this essay. So let's make that side note. Go ahead and click the plus sign. Again, you can pause if you need to. Topic sentence is solid. It provides a reason that supports the thesis of this essay. So we're off to a good start. There is a topic sentence in this body paragraph, and it provides a solid reason, the idea that psychologists kind of back up the thesis. Go ahead and click comment. All right, if it's in argument paragraph format, next up should be evidence. Of course, you still need to use transition words and lead-ins, and you still need to have citations like always. So that next sentence from Karen Lawson, MD, states that positive emotions literally reverse the physical effects of negativity and build up psychological resources that contribute to a flourishing life. We have evidence. We're going well. They cite their evidence, Lawson 2, that's proper. They have a lead-in, awesome. There's no transition word. The student would lose points for no transition word. So let's go ahead and make that side comment. Evidence 1 has a proper citation and a lead-in, but no transition word. Evidence 1 has a proper MLA citation and a lead-in. Where's the transition word? They'd lose a point. And you can comment. All right, so TEA, EAC. Next up should be analysis. And the next sentences, not analysis. This next sentence is, in one study cited by Lawson, they're paraphrasing, which means instead of giving direct quotes, they're saying it in their own words. I don't want you guys paraphrasing. But this entire next section is more evidence. They never explained their first evidence, so we have a problem. So before we make that note about this being second evidence, let's go in and say analysis 1 is missing. So you're going to have to pull your mouse across a tiny little section right after evidence 1. Tiny little baby section. Click the plus sign to make that side note. You can also just use this up on the toolbar. So analysis for evidence 1 is missing. And click comment. So like I said, from this in one study cited by Lawson, keep going, keep going, keep going, all the way to the next citation. That's all evidence 2. So you can click the plus sign to make that side note. So evidence 2 has a lead-in. They paraphrase, which is fine. I don't want you guys doing that though, just as a heads up. They cite it. Again, no transition word. So evidence 2 also has a proper citation and a lead-in, but no transition word. The student would lose points for that and lose points for this missing analysis. And then continues on with a third evidence. I will not require you to have a third evidence. I wouldn't mark you down for having a third evidence. So just make a side note, extra evidence. And you can click comment. All right, so far we see topic, evidence, missing analysis, evidence, more evidence. They finally analyze it. This shows that positive attitudes have helped some people face their dire situations with such courage that we remember them today. We finally have analysis after evidence 2. So let's make that side note. Analysis for evidence 2. And click comment. But the format's supposed to be TEA, EAC. We have no closing sentence. The student would lose points for that too. So pull your mouse across that little section at the very end of paragraph 4 and make that side note. closing sentence is missing. Don't forget to wrap up the paragraph correctly. You should always finish with a closing sentence. So, the student is off to a good start, but there's some things missing. We don't have transition words in this particular paragraph. We do have lead-ins and citations, but we're missing a closing sentence. We're missing analysis, and this is all a problem. All right, continuing on. Go ahead and scroll to the bottom of page 1 on your model. As you write body paragraphs, think carefully about how to incorporate your evidence. Quotations are an excellent source of evidence, but they need to be integrated into your writing, meaning it needs to flow. Be sure to introduce the source of the quotation before you quote it, meaning use a transition word. Place the exact words in quotations. We've done this so much with TEA. And end the sentence with a citation. Don't forget your MLA citations. Let's look at paragraph 2. So go ahead and jump into your copy of the study. Go ahead and go back up to paragraph 2. The student does a good job in paragraph 2 in that regard. So first of all, let's focus on the MLA citations. We have a direct quote toward the top of page 2. And it starts where it says, thanks to father, quote, 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 all the way to more cheerful, followed by a citation. Awesome. Okay, so go ahead and make that side note. Student properly cites this evidence. Student properly cites this evidence. Again, guys, you can be pausing and doing your annotations if needed. And the student does this in multiple spots in paragraph 2. We see it here again later in paragraph 2, where it says, yesterday I ate rice, weenies, and cabbage with a knife. This was a new experience for me. Oppenheim 114. That's a proper MLA citation. So let's make that note again. Student properly cites this evidence. Awesome. That's good news. So don't forget your citations. Lastly, transitions as and, but, or help writers make connections between words in sentence. While words and phrases such as also, in addition to, and likewise help writers establish relationships between ideas in a body paragraph, transitions help make connections between words in a sentence and ideas in individual paragraphs. Adding transition words or phrases like these to the end or beginning of a paragraph can help guide readers smoothly through a text. This goes back to what we talked about at the start of class with transitions. You need to be connecting your ideas so that your essay isn't coming out choppy and disconnected. And so we see this also in paragraph 2. Go ahead and jump back into your copy of the study. We see, for example, a lead-in. In Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. It's a lead-in. Go ahead and make that side note. This is at the top of paragraph 2. Lead in. We also see in the next sentence a transition, for example. So we have a transition word there. Go ahead and click that plus sign. Transition word. And you can click comment. Okay. And if you continue to go through this, multiple spots the student is using lead-ins and transitions just like this. I could probably come up with 15 different examples if I went through here and picked them all out. We're not going to do that. But continuing to use transitions and lead-ins like you've been doing all year in TEA and argument paragraphs is so, so important. When you start your essays next week, make sure you continue to do that. Okay? All right, you don't turn in this copy of the study yet. We're not done. We're going to do more annotations on Tuesday. So you can use this to help you on the skill check. But again, don't turn it in.